Michael, 4 career podiums. You have qualified second fastest 2 times in a row. Finished 6th at the first round, 4th at the second round, this close to a podium. How would you evaluate 2022 so far?
I think that it's been, all in all, overall, it's been pretty good. But I think there's kind of 2 different ways to evaluate it. And on the fun scale, it's probably been a 12 out of 10. And on the riding quality scale, I think it's been very high as well. And the results, it hasn't been there what we want. And yeah, we just gotta continue to focus on things I can control and, let go of the things I can't. And I think the results will come around right where we want them to be. It's been awesome. Qualifying good. This is the first year I've ever really been good in qualifying. And it's just all in all refreshing and been fun.
In sports, sometimes you get those easy dubs, like you get the easy wins, the easy top 5s. Other times they're kind of messy, and you have been having to work for those top 5 finishes. For you, I mean, what is the takeaway on a weekend like that when you had to work so hard? I mean, just to get 4th or to get 6th. What does that tell you?
Yeah, it tells you got the potential to be more and to go further. And it tells me that if I can come through the pack, then surely I can lead the pack too. And it just little things that you take to boost your confidence when there's other things that are there that can crush it, and focus on the things that are going to build it, and move on, because you can't control the past. And the weekends that it's hard, it's also fun. It's fun passing guys, and it's fun going through the field, but it's also fun to win and to be at the front. So
what is helping you stay more relaxed this year?
That's a great question. I think that years past, I didn't believe in myself, and to the extent of which I do today. And there was doubt, and doubt inherently, there's fear, and good performances rarely are ever driven by fear. And everyone knows confidence is key, and that the balance of confidence and arrogance or overconfidence is a tricky one. And I think I've always stayed very far away from that. And I'm like, no, I don't want to be like those jerk guys, that's like, yeah, I'm the best. And so just balancing that and letting myself build confidence, letting myself and intentionally building my confidence through practice with Justin, battling, and yeah, I think that's allowed me to be more comfortable and to believe in myself in high pressure situations.
You mentioned now kind of believing in yourself more and finding that confidence. What prompted that turnaround for you, or that change in trajectory? Just maturing, getting older, results, having a team around you that believes in you. Like, what for you was it?
It's been a number of things, and some things I don't care to share, just because they're good things for my competitors to learn that I'd rather not have them know.
Yeah.
You got to keep some secrets, but a big piece of it's been the bike, and I am so confident in my bike and where it's going to be, and having that time with it, and 2 years now with gas, and I just have so much trust. And earlier in my career, maybe it was every 2 passes was a good one, and then a little bit went by, and it was or even a month went by, and it was all right, every 3 passes, or or every other pass, or whatever, and the mistakes get lower and lower and lower, and now most passes through the whoops, whether I execute perfectly or not, my bike's there to kind of help me. And yeah, it builds confidence. I don't think that's a great answer to your question.
No, you're fine, but that's real for you.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of the interviews you've done with different folks and listened to the podcasts, and something that I found really interesting, you had said that when you moved to Florida, because you had been like this West Coast kid training out here, moved to Florida, you started making friends outside of racing. Mm-hmm. What did that do for you as a person?
Man, that is really cool. You've done your research. That's awesome. That did a lot for me, and because I have a whole identity that is completely separate from racing, and that's amazing. That's so fun. And I'm a Christian, and that's a big part of my life and who I am. and how I view myself and how I view the world, and then secondly, I'm a racer. And so I think growing up, in California and then spending a lot of time in Southern California, early in my pro career, all of my friends were people I met at the gym or people I met at the track, and the conversations were, oh, that race you did last weekend, or the race you're gonna, it was all about racing. And when I moved to Florida, I got really connected to a church that there was actually a hole in the fence from my apartment complex to the church, and I would go through the hole in the fence, and it was like kind of frowned upon. It's funny.
And you found a new community.
Yeah, totally, and I did, and it was just normal people, and I tried to hide the fact that I raced on the weekends, and I just kind of was like, I'll let them find that when they find that out, and made friends just based off, we're two people and we like to do stuff and things, and maybe it's ping pong, and a lot of times it's centered on our faith and all sorts of different things, and I think it gives me some of an advantage in the sense of when I go home, regardless what the result is, I'm not gonna be bombarded with people who are,
racing, want to talk racing,
they're either
want to
bummed
talk about
on
the
me
race,
or happy for me, and they just love me for me, and that's
You have a crew independent of racing.
Yeah, it's a huge thing.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to explain just the value and the depth of that for me.
Yeah. I've noticed too, when you speak, it's all very positive. Like, you keep yourself in a positive framework. How important is that?
It's huge. It's huge. And that's something that's a little bit different this year, that I'm not going to talk about the mistakes I made. It's kind of, growing up riding, you hear the phrase, if you look at the rock, you're going to hit the rock.
Yes.
And, you're going to crash. And if you think about crashing, you're probably going to crash. And if you think about, getting the whole shot, or, whatever that is. And so, it's kind of like if I think about things that I did terrible, then what's that going to do to my confidence?
Yeah.
But if I think about things that, I did great, what's that going to do to my confidence? And, we know confidence is key. And so that's definitely been a bit of an adjustment this year to, it's like I'm not going to talk about the things I'm messing up at,
Yeah.
And it's like I just don't see a huge value in that. So even past races, little mistakes here and there, it's like I'm not even going to go watch it and study it. Like, even watching starts, I in the past I watched thousands of my starts, figuring out what went wrong on that one, what went wrong on that one, what went wrong on that one. But it's like there's 1,000 ways to do something wrong, but just find out the one way to do it right.
Yes.
And that's just where my focus has been.
You mentioned being confident. You are now surrounded by such a confidence-building tribe. Will Hahn, Justin Barsha. You guys all get to train together, keep the energy high.
Hey, don't leave Pierce out.
And Pierce Brown as well.
Come on.
When you're training with these guys and the energy is high, I know that when you were training with Baker's Factory, there wasn't as much of an emphasis on rider coaching. Now Will Hahn offers you riding coaching advice. But I mean, you just even told me a moment ago, like, you're a technically sound rider. So how do you kind of nitpick and at this point, are you just splitting hairs and working on laps? Like, what are you guys doing during the week?
Yeah, most definitely splitting hairs. And there's little things on the track. I think, one of the things I've worked on a lot this season is cutting down in corners preseason. And, I want to be the one to eye out the new line before the old line gets blown out, and be the one who's quick to it, because that's the stuff that pays off in the main events. We worked on, actually someone who helped me this off season who was a big help is Kevin Windham.
Really?
Yeah, Kevin Windham. He showed up for Will's wedding, and it's funny. Like, there's not like anyone who's like, oh my gosh.
You're not gonna fangirl.
But wow, Kevin Windham showed up on the scene, and I gotta say, I was so excited. It was like, oh my gosh, that's Kevin Windham. Not gonna lie, initially I didn't recognize him. It just looked like some mountain man, and
like he was gonna. We interviewed him in Arena Cross a few years ago, yeah.
Yeah, and so then I was like, oh my gosh, that's Kevin Windham. And then, he actually helped me in the whoops, like, significantly. And I think, a lot of people would say, man, like, the whoops this year are better, like, what's going on? And shout out to Kato, he had a big help in that. And Will had, kind of the humility to say, hey, Kevin, help Michael out in the whoops, and I think that's been huge, is that, being around Will, being around all the guys is, it hasn't been like, oh, this is the way we do it, and that's it, but rather it's been a collective thing, and there's been a little piece here, a little piece there, and it's been, beautiful.
What have you been told you need to do? Because I know there's a lot of chirps out there, folks who say you need to do this to get the win, but what is your gut telling you need to do to get that win?
I think it's just executing. It's really simple. It's a boring answer, but it's executing what I know how to do, executing what I do during the week, executing my mental plan, executing my track plan, my riding plan. We've made improvements on the bike. There was a few little things that were kind of, my whole shot device wasn't coming up in the first turn until like the middle of the first rhythm, and that was an issue that we've kind of solved, because I've had decent starts, but through the first turn, not kind of just falling back. And so, yeah, making little things, nothing big deal. We're not panicking, and focusing on execution.
Again, you started the season 6th. You worked into 4th at Oakland. This is the weekend maybe you find the podium.
Yeah, most definitely. I would love to end up there, and I'm just going to focus on the steps it takes to get there. And yeah.
Michael, thank you so much for the time. Like, honestly, it's so cool to talk to someone who's as candid as Michael. So
appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
appreciate
it's
your
been
time.
fun.